All right, Helena, it looks like we got the room opened up here. So I just want to welcome everybody into our a brand new edition of Trade of the Day Live. So excited to be here with you on this great Thursday morning. So happy Thursday to everybody out there watching at home. Thanks for being with us. Helene, I think we have some exciting things to share here. Some
Yeah,
great looking trade setups, huh?
I totally agree. We do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hop right into it, not waste any time here. So let me go ahead and take over the screen share here, folks, and we'll get off and running here. So just before we hop in, of course, you probably have seen this, but continuing to build off of the great move that we saw in the markets, kind of towards the close on Monday and into Tuesday with the massive leap higher. Of course, you can see in the stock chart right here for the S&P 500 index continuing to power higher, make those kind of break out of that range we've been stuck in of late, and continuing to break out and make some new shorter term higher highs. And really, right now at current price levels, we're actually within just a handful of S&P 500 points to be actually trading where the current all-time high and 52-week high close is. The key level to watch there is that 61.44, I think is the close. 61.47 is
Hmm.
the intraday all-time high. So, I mean, as you can see, it's currently at 61.34. So, we are really just within just a very short distance, very quick earshot away from just making those new all-time highs. So, just some really constructive trading we're seeing right now. Of course, there's some very strong pockets across the market showing some great relative strength, even in the midst of a nice up leg at the index level. And that's one of the pockets I'm actually going to talk about right here, Helene, with
Well,
the trade I
Blaine,
brought today.
before you jump in, can you go back to that the last chart?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What
Yeah,
did you want to
just
point out?
wanted, we were talking earlier in the week about this. We saw that bounce off of the middle channel for SPX, and that was the night that the news came out about the ceasefire, potential ceasefire, and you and I both said, "Hey, this could be the catalyst to reaching new highs in the market." I mean, we just
Hmm.
needed a relief of some of this uncertainty, some of this geopolitical uncertainty and risk off the market to potentially trade higher. And I mean, I'm hopeful that we're going to hit that. It looks like we're trading higher, but I did want to point out RSI wise, we are getting overheated. Now, of course, that has
Yes.
never stopped things from trading higher. You can be overheated for an extended period of time, but it is important to note because you are often seeing retracements when you are overbought.
Yep, absolutely. It's a great point. So, certainly having a nice bullish expansion higher here, making these new highs. But exactly as you're saying, you do get sometimes where you kind of start getting in that kind of frothy territory, but it can remain there for a couple of days, kind of as we saw in this instance right here, just about a month ago, and the middle of May when we had this big leap higher, really kind of traded at a frothy level for a bit, and then had a bit of a pullback. Before ultimately trading higher subsequently after.
Yeah,
But great
and
point there, Helene.
not only is
We
the RSI overbought, like
yeah,
in
go
the
ahead.
calendar channels, it's also currently overbought as well. So that's like kind of a double overheated signal right there.
Exactly. So, while that, may not be enough to knock things off in the longer term trend,
No.
just keep it in mind in the short term, folks, is what we're
Yeah.
pointing out here that, in the short term, in the coming week or so, we are expecting, we're kind of getting to that, a little bit of frothy territory and maybe see a bit of a pullback, maybe to the middle counter channel in the week or a week or two upcoming. So just something to keep your mind on. But with all that said, that's all in the context of the market is nearly set to break out to new all-time highs. So certainly a great position for stock investors out there. So love to see that. But Helene, getting back to the trade that I brought today, as I was saying, there's several pockets in the market out there. We've been very clear to identify where they are. There, a lot of them are largely in the technology sector, and generally most of the ones right now that are really catching a bid, really having a lot of great price action in the trading, are those that are connected to the AI theme in some way or another. Whether it's companies that are actually putting AI into practice, they have solutions and services and products they can deliver for their customers that are powered by AI and actually making a difference for their clients. Or it could even be just the companies, just like an Nvidia, that's part of the infrastructure build out that you really can't do it without the Nvidia chips or the power components or the networking. And that's where I actually land today with the trade that I brought to you today. So This one is going to be part of that AI build out. This is more of an AI infrastructure play. And you can see they've really caught a nice tailwind over the past 3 months, coming off of those early April lows. Really consistent series of higher highs and higher lows. Nice technical buy signal printed on the chart here for GLW. This is Corning Inc. You can see our 21-day EMA crossed above our 63-day EMA roughly through mid-May. So a nice technical buy signal that's very fresh, considering it was only generated about a month ago. So great technical buy signal printed on the chart here for GLW. And what this company does, just to tell you how they're connected into the AI build-out trade, uh, Corning, of course, they're a big glass maker, but one of the things, excuse me, that they specialize in is fiber optic cables and networking cables. So these are absolutely critical pieces to building out AI computing data centers.
Okay.
Again, I think I had seen this mentioned somewhere recently, but as powerful and as great as the capabilities are for the NVIDIA chips, without some of the things around them, some of the networking pieces, they're really just a 40 or $50,000 paperweight at some points. If you can't connect them into each other, connect them into other computers and servers, in these data centers, in a vacuum on their own, they're really not any good. So they have to be connected into other things to be sharing data and working in this network. And that's exactly where Corning, that's how they fit into this puzzle of the AI build out. So really important company here. You can see they're getting a nice price boost because this AI trade has, really got some wind in its sails over the past couple of months. And, again, at current price levels, we have that technical buy underlying the stock. That's great. But even, with the market showing a lot of enthusiasm in this space, you can see GLW is not currently overbought at current prices. So
Mhm.
if you're looking at the Keltner channels overlaid right here, you can see GLW is currently still trading within our Keltner channel bands. It's still trading below that upper Keltner channel. So that's actually setting up for a very nice entry opportunity for, a stock with a very nice bullish trend underlying it. And again, you can see this
Oh,
is
yeah.
also being reciprocated in the RSI chart down below. This is a shorter term RSI. This is looking at the 5-day relative strength, and you can see it's actually still below the level of 70. So it's signaling, it's right near 70, but it's not above it or significantly above it.
Mhm.
So that's signaling that again at current price levels, this is offering an attractive entry point for Corning. So the way I look to go ahead and trade this, there's currently not a excess amount of time value in these Corning options, particularly looking at the July 18th options. So the one I kind of zeroed in on here, Helene, was this one for July 18th for GLW, and it was the 47 strike call. So I went ahead and took that one, just plugged it into my call option purchase calculator tool here.
Mhm.
Of course, one of our favorite tools here at the optioneering team, and
Absolutely.
just looking, briefly just at the profit potential analysis for this trade, you can see you have some nice leverage that you would unlock with this 47 strike call. You can see, of course, it meets Chuck's 1% rule. If you were following that trade selection guideline, it is an in the money call, and it actually does meet the 1% rule. Seeing here that if GLW were to be up at option expiration by 1%, you can see you would have a 3.5% return. So it does check off that rule right there.
Mhm.
And then right here, you can see in a couple of the bigger move scenarios here, you can see, of course, if GLW were to rise by 5%, you would have a nearly 45% return on this call. And then finally, looking over here, just taking a look at the 10% move, you would see that actually in that scenario, this call option would have a 96% return. So pretty great looking profit potential there. Looked like
I
a
like
really
it.
interesting opportunity. So I wanted to make sure to share that one today.
Yeah, really nice. I like the pick lean.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's the AI is where where the market's hot right now. That's where a lot of money's flowing through, a lot of the volumes, a lot of the flows. So just trying to find some, identify some great opportunities in that space. So
Yeah, it's
um,
funny that your pick was AI focused. Mine, it's hard to believe, but it also is, even though that pick is Raytheon. And so I'm sure you're like, what do you mean AI? As you
yeah,
know, Raytheon is a major US defense contractor. You wouldn't typically think of them as being AI related, but they do use AI. They use AI in their missile guidance and their threat detection, and they are, continuing to expand their presence in AI to continue to optimize, their offerings in the defense sector. And so I really loved Raytheon today, RTX. They are in a killer setup, in my opinion. because just looking at the chart here, we have a couple of technicals overlaid. We have the 35-day EMA, a short-term moving average. I like to see stocks trading above to confirm a buy signal. Additionally, we have that 200-day moving average. I want to see my stock trading above both of those. That confirms the bull trend. And then, of course, we use the Keltner channel to time our entry point. As you can see, Raytheon was pretty hot over the past month or so, not surprising there. And it got pretty overheated just about a week ago and has pulled back to that middle Keltner channel. And the bullish signal right here and the great entry that we're seeing is that bounce off of the middle channel that we're seeing right now today. It's clearly tested that middle channel and it's bouncing off of it. We see that in really bullish setups. It often indicates that the stock is going to trade higher from there. And so what I'm looking at is a Raytheon call option purchase. I went ahead and we like to go about a month out on option expiration, looking at July 25th. And then we like to have our option meeting the 1% rule. The great thing about a number of these different platforms is it tells you if your stock would meet the 1% rule. So I'm looking at July 25th for Raytheon. I'm going to go down and there's this column here that says to break even. That's how much the stock has to move in order to break even. So I'm looking at the 134 strike call. It's trading at 1033. And Raytheon only has to move 0.94% in order for your option to break even at option expiration. So this meets our 1% rule. So that's the trade that I'm looking at today. I love the setup. I still think defense has a lot of room to run. I don't think that that we're done seeing that trend, and the addition of AI for that one I think is gonna keep propelling it higher as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that looks like a killer find you found there, Helene. A great looking setup according to the technicals. I love the chart work you did there. That was a great find. And yeah, I mean, I think defense, particularly some of the big winners in defense, some of the more modernized, companies. I mean, you see, even there's headlines coming out of the Middle East, out of that conflict of seemingly we may have a durable ceasefire there and might be cooling some tensions there. But right after that broke, we get a headline out of a NATO meeting that defense spending, across virtually all the members is increasing massively. So
Exactly.
everybody knows where that money is going to flow to.
Yeah.
Going to the major defense companies.
Yeah, yeah,
Largely, a lot of them, are major U.S. defense companies. So, yeah, great find there, Helene. Love
thanks.
that. The technicals meeting up with the business, fundamentals to come. So, love it.
Yeah, and one other note on Raytheon is they're not just missiles, and those physical defense items, they're also cybersecurity. So that's going to continue on, even if those physical defense items are not needed. We absolutely need cybersecurity continuously, and money's really pushing into that sector as well. So I appreciate you liking the pick. I really like it. I love your pick as well.
Yeah, thanks so much. Appreciate it. And just to pivot from there, you were mentioning cybersecurity, folks. We have I'm actually getting ready to hop on in about 20 minutes to another call live with Chuck. We're going to be talking, sitting down with our partners from over at FFR. If you're familiar with Michael, but we're going to be talking about cybersecurity and some of the really exciting trends we see in the market, really specific to that industry and kind of how we're looking to go after those here in the market, and use some of our different tools in house here. So if you haven't gone ahead and registered for that, definitely go ahead. You probably received maybe some messaging about that in the next couple of days, but we're going to be kicking that off here in just a few minutes. So I'd love to see you all join us over there. But with that, actually, I have to go, Helene. I have to go get ready for that call.
Fair.
So I'll let you go ahead and wrap things up here. Take care, everybody. Thanks so much for attending live here with us, and I'll see you all back here next week.
See you, Blaine, and we've gone over our trades, we've done our market overview. I just want to thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're going to be back again next Tuesday for Trade of the Day Live, so make sure to keep an eye out for that email. We'll be sending out an email ahead of time so you know that it's coming up, and it's going to be Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific. So I hope to see you all then.